tacked up. And if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control. I'm on the edge.
We're back with another great episode of the only series that covers the spectrum of grassroots motorsports. It's the one and only Lucas Oil on the Edge, and this week we're coming to you from Attica, Indiana and St. John, Washington. Our first stop is the Badlands Off Road Park, where we'll hit the rocks for precision rock crawling at its best. The unlimited rigs are ready to go. Remember, low score wins at this event. Let's get right to it.
All right, we're going to sling some rocks around here today. We're in western Indiana at Attica at the Badlands, about 45 minutes west of Indianapolis, the motorsports capital of the world. Ken Stout and Brian Olson here to call the World Extreme Rock Crawling Championship Series presented by General Tire. This is a lot of fun to watch. These guys are so talented, and the equipment will go over stuff that you would never dream of. I mean, virtually boulders that are almost vertical. With more on the event, let's go to Rob Klepper.
Guys, you said it. We're in Attica, Indiana, the Badlands, and it's time to go unlimited rock crawling. Now, 4 obstacles that these teams are going to have to face here today. Now, the key ingredients to rock crawling is the driver, the spotter, and, of course, the vehicle. You have to have all 3 to get over one of the 4 obstacles that they're going to tackle here today. But it's all about points, or lack thereof, I should say. It's kind of like golf. The lowest accumulated points will win. You get penalty points if you time out. Over 10 minutes, that's cost you 40 points. If you run into a barrier, if you have to use the winch, if you have to back up, that thing will add up. The lowest accumulated points is going to be the winner. Now, they were here yesterday, ran the 4 obstacles. They're going to run 4 more here today. The unlimited guys are coming at you.
And we should also say that you can actually earn points, negative points, I say. And that's if they have a bonus gate. So if you've added up 10 points, you can actually take 10 points off if you get through a bonus gate.
And I'll tell you this, it is really almost unheard of that you get through a whole round of this without losing some points normally.
And look at the rear steer there. That's what we talk about when we say this equipment is just absolutely phenomenal to watch work. Now, I will tell you, if you use the rear steer like that, unfortunately, it adds 5 points on. But what this equipment can do is like no other vehicles on the planet.
That's Chicky Barton wearing the yellow, and inside the cockpit is Bill. And they were making their way up. Now it's Mike Hallfish and Brian Howard. The spotter is always on the outside, showing you which way to go and all kinds of things, moving rocks, etc.
Yeah, they have hand signals. They're talking to the drivers a lot. If need be, they'll put a strap on and help the vehicle over an obstacle. Of course, if you do that, they add points. If the spotter touches the vehicle while it's moving, you add points. And, of course, you can see the cones there as well as they negotiate through those cones.
Literally, you're in an area right here that, you know, some folks would barely be able to walk or go on a rock climb or whatever the case might be, and to put a vehicle on here is just amazing. But you can tell by looking, these things are definitely built specifically for this purpose.
Yeah, absolutely, and unfortunately, there goes a cone there. And the spotters, yeah, I mean, when you said that before, like rock climbers, I mean, they're like billy goats. These guys are all over this course. You wonder how they can do it. But again, as you watch the vehicles, of course, the tires designed for this style of competition. There's a high center of gravity, and there goes a cone as he knocks that one down, and that is a 40-point hit right there whenever you go out of bounds like that with 3 or more tires.
Yeah, the 40 points is about as bad as it gets right there. It is so cool to watch that, but I tell you, we haven't seen so far anyone get past that particular cone.
Yeah, and it's one of those deals. Do you want to attack it in a slow, methodical fashion, or do you want to stand on the throttle because there's no shortage of horsepower in these things either? And so far, we've been watching the slow, methodical, and that one didn't work right there either. I mean, he got in the gas hard, but rolled up to it nice and easy instead of carrying some momentum.
Yeah, you want to get past the thing, but you got to figure it out. If you've watched 1 or 2 drivers in front of you take the slow method, it doesn't work, then you want to try to mat the throttle, because so far you can obviously see the vehicles in front of you are not making it, doing it the slow way.
So interesting stuff. We've just gotten started. Stay with us.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is being brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Ready Liftoff Road Suspension, a new revolution in off-road suspension design and development.
Welcome back to the World Extreme Rock Crawling Championships and a track report here. Yeah, the weather conditions are a bit cloudy and rainy, making things slick.
Mike Holfish, half a smile down here. You got mud on your face, but Mother Nature throwing down some rain. How much more difficult is it out there for you guys on these obstacles?
It's very difficult. You can't hold your line, so your front end's washing out, and you're just sliding off the rocks. It makes things an extreme challenge. And you're right, Mother Nature's delivering. Today rain, yesterday 95 degree with I don't know how much humidity, but it was a mess yesterday too. So
you guys tackle it any different, knowing different setup or anything, knowing that there's water out there?
you try to run a little lower air pressure than normal, but then you run into risks like I just did, and your bead leaks and you lose air in your tire. That's about the only advantage you can take there. So.
Well, guys, half a smile there from Mike Holfish as he heads back to the pits.
All right, here's a look at the points through the standings after one course, and everybody in the negative, but a negative 23 for Haynes up top, and company doing a good job. Of course, Gabe Strauss also helping him out. Here's Holfish and Howard as they continue on.
I'll tell you what, a 23 under, sound like we're talking about golf here once again, but 23 under in this is pretty unusual after round number one.
Barton and Barton getting the job done here, making it look easy up and through that gate. We'll continue on here. Jesse Haynes, our leader, and Gabe Strauss. And a good look at this vehicle here. You can see that it's a lot larger than some of the other ones in the category, enough for two people to sit in versus a single-seater here.
We are on course number 2, by the way, Ken, and I haven't seen as many cones go down. And what it is, basically, it comes down to course 1 turned around the opposite direction for all intents and purposes here in this round.
Yep, you run course 1 in reverse for course 2, and it makes everything look drastically different. I mean, when you look at that wall, if you were standing there looking at it thinking, I need to get up over that with my car, you know, it's like it's never going to happen, and they just make it look easy.
I'm sitting there thinking about how hard it would be for me just to crawl up that thing, how long it would take. Wow, it's amazing. It's cool to watch, though, man.
And these vehicles are durable, to say the least. Again, you can watch a spotter basically saying, you're clear over here, so he can focus on what he's about to go down. And needless to say, if you need to carry a little speed there, if you try to stop mid-drop, I mean, it'll land up on one tire and send you over on your lid.
If you watch the driver's compartment closely, too, they're driving and steering with that thing very much so like a monster truck. I'm only making that comparison because you're not going to be able to turn the rear and the front without using both hands. I mean, you got one hand on the rear and one hand on the front. That's on the steering wheel.
Haynes and Strauss extend their lead here over Barton and Barton. They're having a good weekend, but we still have course 3 and 4 to go.
Once again, Gabe Strauss is the spotter. Jesse Haynes the driver. Well, he's using that motor up right there, isn't he?
I was going to say the same thing, yep, and using that horsepower when he needs it. And look at that spotter go running past him to try and get up ahead of him for the next course, or the next gate, I should say, as the Barton and Barton team come out here as well and up and through that gate.
Now, you know, if they nail that thing a little too hard, there's nothing at all in the world that keeps you going or back. Or
well,
backwards.
And boy, you called that one perfect. That's exactly how quickly it can go wrong.
Man, oh man, I didn't even mean to put the hex on him that way, but shoot. That's a bad way to go, but he landed on 4.
And there's the rear steer working. Oh, and he's going to sneak through that gate. Unbelievable right there. I thought for sure he would knock that cone down.
Boy, that's some driving there. Man, oh man.
That was max rear steer, but worked out rather than hitting that cone. And again, you know, as you watch them, they also have individual brakes as well, so they can drag one if they need to try and slide that car around or steer it around at a tighter angle. And again, look at those spotters. I mean, they're like bullfighters almost. They get as close as possible to try to help out and immediately get out of the way. So wow. A cross between a bullfighter and a mountain goat. I mean, that's quite a combination.
Yes, it is. That's Chicky Barton trying to get out of the way there. Does a great job. And again, how he keeps his footing, I don't have a clue.
Amazing stuff.
Well, fellas, a quick update on the Unlimiteds. It looks like right now that Jesse Haynes is the driver to beat on the course. But in speaking to a lot of the drivers, they're saying that course 3 here today of the 4 is the toughest obstacle at the Badlands. They're really struggling over there in course 3. So not only is the obstacle tough, Mother Nature looks like spitting down again too. So a lot of obstacles they have to deal with here today at the Badlands.
Listen up, Lucas Oil on the Edge fans. It's time to prove how much you love OTE by downloading the free Lucas Oil on the Edge app for your iPhone and iPad. You can check out the OTE schedule, see past shows, and meet the cast. In addition, you can browse the OTE apparel. This is an app that has it all and is a must for every Lucas Oil on the Edge fan.
Welcome back to We Rock here on OTE. The Unlimited teams are ready to tackle the final course of the day. As we've seen, points can add up easily and no lead is safe. Let's get back to the rocks and finish this one up.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. Okay, we'll move over to course number 4. Once again, Barton and Barton holding on to second place here in the competition.
Look at that. I can't even imagine all the things you have to do behind that driver's compartment.
Yeah, and you're thinking that tree's over there out of the way, but once you start down, it only takes a slight movement, and that tree's right in the way.
Holy cow.
Making it look easy here, though, right? Amazing stuff. I mean, it really is. It's a combination of equipment and driver skill, eyes, knowing which path to take, what rocks to use.
Hallfish makes it look easy right there as he cruises right on up. And right in through here is where they're giving it just a little bit of gas. Boy, if you're that spotter right there, rocks coming at you like crazy. I mean, you got to really watch where you're at.
And a completely different approach here. But again, I was going to say makes it look easy, but did not do so. Has to back up. And when you back up, you add points.
Yeah, that's a tough way to go right there. Look at the size of those rocks laying there. It's just amazing.
The size of that cliff that he just went down, and then again under control, or you just nose plant into the trees and then right on through that final gate.
And by the way, there are points in time where you'll actually see a spotter grab one of those great big rocks from time to time and move it to a certain position for their driver to make it up or down a certain spot here or there.
And again, a little bit off to the left right there, was able to get it stopped and controlled. Otherwise would have gone out into the woods.
You certainly can't go into one of these things and have yourself hyped up. What I mean is this is as wild as it looks. You got to keep yourself calm to accomplish this task. A guy like me would never get the job done.
So great stuff here at Attica, the Badlands. Putting on a show here, it's Barton, and Barton who gets back around Haynes Strauss, who has a tough run in the 4th course.
Guys, after 2 days of racing, 8 obstacles to play with, Mother Nature coming in the Unlimited division, it is the Bartons. Chicky Barton, the son, of course, Bill Barton, behind the wheel. You guys got it done. He was working out there, telling you where to go, how to get through these obstacles. You got to be happy with the outcome, bud.
Oh, yeah, it's been a great weekend. Chicky's a great spotter, shows me where to go. Basically, it's pretty simple. Just listen to him. You can do it blindfolded.
You guys have had a pretty good year. High points once again here in Attica. It's got to make you feel pretty good. Talk about the teamwork, not only between you and the spotter, but you and the son.
Oh, yeah. Chicky and I have been doing this about 3 years now, plus the Fusion brothers help us out the mechanical part of it, Jeff and Todd. It's just a great team.
All right, here's a look at the final results, courtesy of Ready Lift Off-Road Suspensions. And a great suspension, by the way, as we take a look at our winners for the people that just want to go out to Attica and have some fun with their truck. Check them out online. When we come back, we're going to get wet.
One of our absolute favorite events here on Lucas Oil on the Edge is jet boat racing. The Superboat class is the premier class, and we're in store for another awesome race. This is definitely the hardest course layout we've seen, and I have a feeling that the tight hairpin turns will get the best of some of these teams. We'll send it right back to the track with Ken and Brian.
All right, Jamie, yeah, we're going to have some fun. We love covering this style of racing. The fans enjoy it as well. Up here in the great Northwest, the Superboats jet boat racing presented by Lucas Oil. These things, we talk about it all the time, but every time we see it, it's amazing how quick they are, how quickly they turn, and there's 2 of the best of them right there. Of course, we're talking about Dan Morrison and Kerry McGuire, but they'll have some stiff competition as well. It's always very close racing. If I had to pick one, I would go with the Wicked Racing team.
Oh, you so surprise me every time when you get the first pick of the deal. Lee Rice and Marvin Wright for me, and Screaming Eagle all the way. That number 711 machine is way overdue for a big win here in the state of Washington.
Let's get it back down trackside.
Welcome to Webbs Slough, boys. It's time to go jet boat racing here in St. John's, Washington. A very crazy race course, and boats equally as crazy. We're talking about 700 horsepower plus. Boats that weigh about 1,300 pounds, pulling 4 to 6 Gs in the corner. 0 to 70? Yeah, in about 3 seconds, boys. That is bad fast. Of course, that the drivers and navigators have no idea what it's going to be like until they get here. Very unique form of motorsports. A narrow, fast driver's racetrack here at Webbs Slough. It's going to be fun to watch them battle it here today.
Nice job, Rob. Yeah, I mean, a critical component there, right? You have no idea what the course is going to be till you get there inside of a boat that is way too fast on a course that's way too narrow.
And you can look right there and see the navigator on the right side with his arm and his hand out there showing the pilot which way to move. And, of course, that's Lee Rice. Marvin Wright with his arm out there in the front. And, again, very narrow course. And as Rob mentioned, the course stays the same, but the actual running course changes every time they show up. And the drivers do not know until the night before which direction they're going on this thing.
Yeah, and they can change it up a lot of different ways here. So far, everything looking pretty good here for Rice and Wright. Their first look at the course, and that's what we're talking about. You want to be good right out of the gate. Keep in mind they start off with 8 and work their way down into 4, and then the final, of course, 2 go at it. 52-17, and that is a solid number, no doubt, but you really need to be around the 50-second mark, if at all possible, in the high 49s.
Yeah, the next machine that we'll see come out is one of the more popular machines and one of the winningest rides of we've ever seen up here.
Kara McGuire, Dan Morrison, and you can just see the speed out of this thing. Split seconds are important. If you take a look at all the turns that are on one of these courses, keep in mind, if you lose a couple tenths here, a couple tenths there, by the time you get done, you've lost a second or two.
Overall champion in 2008, the Supermod category. And if you listen to this motor, for whatever reason, it just seems to keep the RPMs up higher than about any boat out there. Clearly a fuel-injected machine. Look at the 8 stacks coming out of the top of the motor.
Boy, kind of hopping around a little bit, but nonetheless, still the predictive time looking very good here, and quite possibly in the 50-second range. Oh, and it surpasses that. How about a 49.89 second run?
That's unbelievable. Morrison and McGuire do it again.
We love to hear from our fans. Go to www.facebook.com and become a fan of Lucas Oil on the Edge. Join our OTE private group or like our page. Then post your comments about this Lucas Oil on the Edge episode. Lucas Oil on the Edge telecast is being brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Ready Lift-Off Road Suspension. A new revolution in off-road suspension design and development.
In Superboat this year, it's been pretty much all about Wicked Racing. Number 10, Dan Morrison and Kara McGuire. You guys have, well, shown up 4 times, won 4 times, Dan. How about this team chemistry between you? Because it's been going on for a few years now.
Yes, it has. Doug Hendrickson and I in the A400 boat, we started the Wicked Racing team about 3 years ago, and it was more to kind of help each other out with knowledge of the track and setup of the boat, that type of thing. And we've actually did a lot with marketing, trying to get the Wicked name out there a little bit and jazz the fans up, that type of thing. And we've been real good at, or successful, I should say, at making that happen.
You guys are on top of the mountain right now. Good luck here today and the rest of the year.
You bet. Thank you very much.
So the final round coming up here. Once again, it will be between Morrison and McGuire, and they'll face off against Rice and Wright. This time, first out of the gate, it will be Morrison and McGuire. Last time around, a time of 49.897.
And once again, this machine, one of the most consistent you will ever see, at one time was a carbureted machine, but again, they come out with a fuel injection kit, and you can just listen to this thing, and the RPMs are always screaming, and as a result, they got the real low numbers with this machine.
The 2008 Supermod overall champ and also won the national finals that year as well. 2009 second in the points, and again the predicted time here that is coming up is very strong, very, very close to their first round number if they can hang on here. And you've got to think, as consistent as he's been, he will do so. How about 49.50 as he shaves a better part of 0.4 of a second off?
That is hard to do, but this team makes it look easy. Wow.
So their work is cut out for them, Rice and Wright. If they can get it done here, they could win this event. But they've really got to go to work here. They've got to shave off the better part of 2.5 seconds.
And that's not easy to do, and you're exactly right, Ken. They're backed up and they are against the wall. And with the most consistent machine generally on the property, having just made that great run, it's going to be a tough one here.
Marvin Wright, the navigator, Lee Rice, the driver. Lee Rice, a 9-year veteran out of Caldwell, Idaho, and trying to find some time on this course here.
Oh, that's it.
Yep, that is it. When you just make a small bobble like that, it can cost you the win, and he really needed to be perfect in the first place to beat the Wicked boat, and unfortunately just a quick bobble put him up on shore for a brief moment. You can see the clock already well over the 49-second mark. He lays up a little short knowing it's gone, but again, a fabulous job out of these guys. They are extremely talented.
Well, the fan cam, and I definitely got to get me one of those hats. How about that?
If you race it, we'll cover it, including wheelbarrow races.
Guys, the helmets come off, the shades go on, the Lucas Oil Racing hat goes on, and Dan Morrison, 5 races, 5 wins. Karen McGuire alongside. Congratulations, you guys have been dominant all year long.
Thank you very much. We slowed down a little bit just to make sure we weren't going to the beach. You know, you start pushing over the edge a little bit, and you never know when you're going to head out of this track, you know. So we just did what we felt was comfortable to win this race, and our 7-seaters casino boat, hauling.
Time to go celebrate, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He said he slowed down a little bit, but he actually went quicker. It's been a lot of fun covering all the action here, and hope you enjoyed it as well. For Rob Klepper and Brian Olson, I'm Ken Stout. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.